Hey, I just wanted to say that the following book review may contain spoilers. Hello again, and welcome back. I hope your month of February is off to a good start. Today's book review is on a book called House of Leaves. It's written by Mark Z. Danielewski, and it was released on March 7th in 2000. The book is 662 pages, not counting the index. Instead of chapters, it's divided into the following sections: a foreword, an introduction, the Davidson record, exhibits 1 through 6, 3 appendices, an index, credits, and then something called Yggdrasil. This book seems to revolve around two main storylines with their own sub-stories, which host the actual theme of the whole book. Keep in mind that this is my interpretation of the book, so it may not be 100% accurate, but this is the way I interpreted it. It's a fiction novel wrapped in layers of drama, romance, and horror. Terrifying, suffocating horror by virtue of some of the themes explored in this book that has to do with isolation, fear of the unknown, this sort of dread, and exploring this unknown, which ends up with real consequences for the characters in the story. If it seems confusing, that's because at first it can be. The reader has to jump between storylines in the real time of the story and then back into the actual story. So it's kind of a story within a story, and you have to keep up with it. You have to keep up with the timing and the events that don't coincide, and you got to keep track of it. You start out by learning about this character, Johnny Truant, and him living in reality where he hears about this mysterious old man named Zampano that passed away, that there was very little known about him, and he kept this sort of manuscript around, and it was found in his apartment after he had passed away, something called the Davidson record. So as the story goes on, you learn bits and pieces about Johnny Truant and his misadventures as this adult, as he goes about things like his infatuation with a stripper, or I think it was a prostitute, I don't remember. Anyway, it's quickly apparent that this character leads a seedy lifestyle, and you learn about it. He doesn't quite know what to make of the Davidson record. So the Davidson record has to do with the actual story, and what I suspect the reason for the book being called House of Leaves. It has to do with the family, the Davidsons. Will Davidson, the father, this famous photographer. Karen Davidson, his beautiful wife. Daisy, his their 5-year-old daughter. Chad, his 3-year-old son. And Will's brother, Will's fraternal twin brother, Tom. It has to do with an impossible situation. This family moves from Seattle to this new house somewhere, and upstairs in his daughter's room, there's another room that leads to an impossibly big and pitch black room/area. It's not in the blueprints, and there's no prior known history about it. They were never told about this when they bought the house. Nobody seems to know about it. The book coalesces around this story. You read about the dynamics involved in exploring why that is, as Will has a deep drive for exploration, which is part of the reason for his success, because he's willing to take risks, which conflicts with his present domestic life. He feels this deep need to explore why this is and where it leads to. He starts with attempting to film his first couple of experiences in this huge, dark, pitch black dark space, and he called it the 5.5-minute hallway, although most of the video was just as black as the actual area he was exploring. The plot thickens as tensions increase. Will Davidson then reaches out to his fraternal twin brother, Tom. There's an awesome relationship there. It's interesting that this is one of those books where you immediately make connections with their stories because of the human essence in them. You're drawn to them and you care about them much like you would characters in a popular mystical adventure story. So now both of them are just as nonplussed about the situation, and it continues to fortify Will's need to explore it and figure out what's going on. This, of course, creates family drama because Karen doesn't want him to take risks. See, the presence of this mysterious, deep, dark pit in their own house starts to affect the family in a number of ways. Karen quickly goes from sort of interested to not interested in, because she sees it as not only a source of fear but danger, unknown danger. It takes a toll on their marriage, and the kids have trouble sleeping. It's not that there's something evil about it in and of itself in terms of the house, but the vacuum of explanation for why such a thing is deeply unsettling for this family. You could imagine having a giant black hole in your upstairs, right? Anyway, the plot continues to thicken to the point where Navy hires an expedition team, a group of people who have had experiences in a dangerous mountain climbing experience to explore the area and treat it like that. They have to wear thick coats, bring plenty of alternative resources for food and light, and then they note that the deeper they go into the black abyss, their electronic software doesn't work as well, so their walkie-talkies, their batteries. I also want to emphasize the terror element here. The author does a phenomenal job of showing how enormous the space is, but we don't ever know just how big it is. You learn that at first it takes several minutes to get downstairs to the main floor, but then they keep going back to the point where it takes hours to get downstairs, which implies that this is a space where the rules of time and space do not seem to apply, which of course doesn't make sense. It's also freezing down there. That's why they have to bring these thick coats, because the author talks about how when they're down there, they can sort of still with their headlamps, they can still see their breath. That's how cold it is. The book, which I will show in a moment here, reflects the suffocating nature of this space in the very way it's written on the paper itself. I'll be showing an example of this, but it'll be like a few words that are dedicated to a single page, sometimes just a handful of words for one whole page. This professional outdoorsman type of guy brings a rifle to the expedition, which of course the others ask, why do you need to bring something like that? He responds to the typical that he'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it or something. The book layout is unique in and of itself. It's been said this book is also a type of satire on academic criticism. Indeed, the footnotes at times are almost like micro stories themselves, and a couple just don't make any sense. It just don't make any sense to me. A lot of it is abstract. The word house is always colored in blue, although for me, since I'm a bit colorblind, it looks purple. The word minotaur is always red with a strike through. There's parts of the book where you have to hold it to a mirror in order to read it. It's pretty wild. Anywho, that's going to do it for this book review. I give it a 10 out of 10. As when I read it, I loved it. I went through those themes and I can attest to them. I felt for the characters and their wild ride through this. And I felt the terror of the explorers as they went about this unexplainable event. And the trippier part of this is that, according to the story, this manuscript of the Davidson record never happened. In the story, Johnny Truant can't find record of these people having ever lived or the house itself. Alright, well, thanks again, everybody. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.